Hello, Stewart 89. Well, IDW is still doing Star Trek comics, and they're doing something, I don't know, I think it's kind of interesting, but not so much. They're doing a alternative universe series, an ongoing series, which is going to be now the flagship of IDW's Star Trek comics. And it's got the production crew behind it that did Star Trek Year 5. And this one, it's going to be a mixed crew, and we're going to have it captained by Captain Sisko in an alternative universe where he didn't leave with the orbs. So set 3 years after the end of Deep Space Nine and 1 year before Nemesis. So I don't know, I'm kind of sick of alternate universes and mirror universes, and I just would like them to just do a regular Star Trek series in a regular timeline with one of the crews, or make up a new crew. This whole mixing and matching and alternative versions of people, I mean, I wasn't always the biggest fan of Benjamin Sisko ever since he punched Q and showed that he wasn't exactly Picard. And then by the 6th or 7th season, when he was committing war crimes, I sort of was like, yeah, not my favourite captain. But I'm curious what he would be like in the alternative universe. Would he be the same person who punches first and, you know, thinks later and murders people based on politics? I don't know if he'd be the same character or not. But he's not exactly a Star Trek character. That's not how Star Trek captains and Starfleet, Star Trek people, Star Trek humans act. So I was not really impressed with him by the end of the series. But the official synopsis is Star Trek #1 weaves an epic and unprecedented adventure story that spans the far reaches of the Star Trek multiverse, bringing together characters from across the galaxy and all eras and variations of the beloved franchise, who must band together to prevent the mysterious murder of the gods. And now we're dealing with religion in Star Trek? Really? Is this a bunch of like right-wing people who are writing this who just want to destroy Star Trek or something? Star Trek was better than that. Star Trek humans were advanced. They didn't believe in gods anymore because they were intelligent and educated. They understood about science. So what, now we're dealing with gods and religion again, which was part of the problem with Deep Space Nine, is they brought religion into it, which kind of ruined it. That and war. Religion and war, that's not Star Trek, but that's what Deep Space Nine was. That's why it's not Star Trek. Shock horror, people, if you don't know, Deep Space Nine is not Star Trek. It was the pre-Discovery, anti-Star Trek, anti-TNG, Star Trek in name only. It's Stardate 2378, and Benjamin Sisko has finally returned from the Bajoran worm. Oh, sorry, he did go, he just came back. He's come back omnipotent? Well, that's going to really do wonders for his ego. But his godhood is failing with every minute. Sent by the prophets on a mission to the deepest parts of space aboard the USS Theseus? I don't know how to spell that. Theseus. I don't know how to pronounce that. He witnesses the unthinkable. Someone is killing the gods, and only Sisko and his motley crew of Starfleet. Oh, gee. This is not Star Trek. These people don't know Star Trek. This is... Oh, I didn't read the article before I started doing the... I thought it was going to be better than this. So basically, they're on a religious mission to save gods, and of course it's a ragtag crew of people who obviously are not real Starfleet officers, who don't want to obey Starfleet orders. They just want to do whatever. And it's basically Star Wars again. We've got a ragtag rebellion crew. These people don't know what Star Trek is. They want to make everything but Star Trek. It's so frustrating when you love Star Trek. And I'm like, why don't you people just make Star Trek and let people enjoy Star Trek instead of just destroying it, just using the name and the brand and the character names just for recognition, and doing something totally different. If you really hate Star Trek, go work for Star Wars. Go make a unique series yourself that has nothing to do with Star Trek, and go off and have wars and religious fights and go save gods and ridiculous things like that. I don't know if I can finish this article. It's ridiculous. A mix of old new characters and a new ship. Sisko enlists a team of Starfleet members from every era of Star Trek. Well, I guess he's a god. He can just drag them out of any old timeline, can't he? Basically magic. It's science fantasy at best. What promises to treat Gene Roddenberry's creation as a living universe. So any characters from any timeline can pop up. So let the speculation begin. In the initial, not final artwork provided, Sisko's team includes Dr. Crusher, a pre-Nemesis Data, and 2 other characters, a Vulcan named Talia and an android child named Sato. The ship is the USS Theseus? I think I'm never going to try. But there are no images of it yet or detail of what class it is. And of course they've got new uniforms because they have to do a new uniform for every comic or book or series. So they have the licensing rights to it if they ever make any toys or anything of it. And also, at least Talia is hot. That's about the only good thing about this, although the uniform is not helping. IDW Senior Editor Heather Antos. Star Trek has always been about telling stories of a better future, of the hope for humanity, something that the world needs now more than anything before. Yeah, what we need now is to believe in gods again and have stories about gods. That's not Star Trek. That's not a future you can actually... And what Jackson, Colin, and Ramon are doing for the series is bigger and bolder than any Star Trek series ever before. Yeah, because it doesn't resemble Star Trek at all. That's why it's so different. The 400th issue is going to be written by Wesley Crusher, and it also involves gods in that it's got Gary Mitchell. There's some prelude art. What am I up to? 6 minutes. I really should stop talking. The art is beautiful, at least. That's all I can say about that. And I don't think they really talked about comics at the recent Comic Con, because Comic Cons are not about comics anymore. But I'm going to go. I'm just really disappointed to hear that this is not a Star Trek series. It's the new flagship IDW line that has nothing to do with Star Trek because it's about gods and fantasy and nothing to do with science fiction. I give up. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Please go out of business, IDW. They've been on thin ice for a while, and I was wondering if they were actually going to keep going and how many series we were going to get before they ended. They got up to 400 issues, which is great, but it's so frustrating, like I say, when you know Star Trek and you love Star Trek and you want to see more Star Trek, and all you get is these other shows created by people who obviously don't understand or don't like Star Trek, who are trying to create something else for other people, for all the people who didn't like Star Trek. They're chasing those people, the non-Star Trek fans, and it just happens over and over again. And that's just the norm now. It's like I'm starting to give up on ever getting new Star Trek and ever expecting Star Trek from any of these Star Trek brand products. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks, bye.